All right, guys, not my standard video. Go ahead and tell you that right now. It is 1:40 in the morning. I was actually about to go to sleep. Clementine's finally, resting. My voice might be a little, I guess raspy is the word. I don't know. Anyways, I wanted to talk about this while it was kind of fresh on me. I normally don't cover gaming news, related stuff. A lot, I kind of save that for everybody else. That's just I just do walkthroughs. I play games. I do sometimes one video for a game or a full series. That's kind of the way I do it. Not really even sure what you're seeing behind, me talking right now. There might be Days Gone gameplay or The Last of Us. I have no idea at this point. I'm really just rambling into a microphone. So, I read an article a couple days ago, and it talked about Days Gone 2 back in 2019 getting rejected. Nobody's come out and confirmed or denied it from Bend Studio. I don't really know what they've been up to. By the way, this video is all speculation. This is just my personal thoughts, my hopes, my thoughts. I don't know what else to really say about, I guess, the expectations for this video, but I'm going to ramble. I promise you that. The Last of Us came out in 2013, and it is one of the best games I ever played. I'm looking at my channel right now, and it's the first part for that series is the 5th most viewed video out of, I don't know how many videos I have. I don't even know how you check. All I know is I got 7,000 or something. It's number 5. Number 10, which only came out less than 2 years ago, was the part 1 of Days Gone. So there's a huge interest there. And I don't really know if this stuff is true or not. The article could have been false. The reason I say that is because you can interview somebody and then put everything in your own words and make it twisted. It reminds me when I was in first or second grade. We did a thing one time where all of us had to sit in a circle, right? Huge circle, 30 kids. And the teacher would walk up to one of us and tell us something. It could be the sky is orange or something. I don't know. And she'd say, after I tell you this, say this thing to your, tell the person to your left. And they do that for 30 times. When they got to the last kid, it was nothing about what it was like. It was like I had pancakes for breakfast or something. It didn't make any sense. So I don't know how many times this article had been tossed around from some of the snippets I read, but I just feel like I'm going to kind of take what I've read with a grain of salt. I follow Bend Bend Studio, the creators of Days Gone, Siphon Filter, a bunch of other great games. On Twitter, a lot of the people that worked on the game follow me as well. I've talked to some of them personally. Really nice people. Really nice people. I feel like, I hope they, get to make a Days Gone 2 one day. But after reading that article, if it is true, it seems like Sony is prioritizing maybe keeping it safe with, I wouldn't say sales, really, because if you think about it, what would you rather have? A Days Gone 2 or Last of Us Remastered for PlayStation 5, And I think most people would say, oh, man, The Last of Us on PS5, that'd be awesome. I'm kind of one of those people. I think I'd rather have Days Gone 2. But don't get it twisted. You give me Last of Us on PS5, 4K, whatever frames is that time, the full potential of a PS5, I'll definitely play it on day one. I'll even pre-order it, I already know it's not going to be a bad game. We've already played it. But that's the thing. If you notice a trend with Skyrim and how it's kind of like a meme where it gets remade for everything, all the way down to your Apple Watch or something. I don't even know what it's on now, but you got that game and then Grand Theft Auto 5, which easily is one of the most popular games ever. I was talking about my top 10 videos and most viewed. Number 1 and 4 is part 1 of Grand Theft Auto 5 is my 4th most viewed. My number 1 video, which has 21 million views, is the final part of Grand Theft Auto. It's crazy. I remember recording it that night. But so they're kind of going off interest, I feel like. I feel like they would sell more if they remade The Last of Us. But you have a lot of people that have played it. But you also have to remember that it did come out in 2013. And even when they remastered it a year later, you got to think, if we don't get this remaster, let's say we get the PS5 update or whatever, or the brand new one they're working on, we don't get that until next year or the year after. Let's just say that. It could be 8 or 9 years before we get to play The Last of Us upgraded. Well, the one thing that caught me off guard with the whole thing, though, was I kind of was like, you know what? I can see it why they would do that. The thing that surprised me the most, though, was I don't know if you guys have tried to go back and play Uncharted on PlayStation 3 versus Last of Us. But on the first Uncharted game, it's tough, man. I know, like, sometimes you play games as a kid and you get older and like, man, that game was the bomb when I was little. I can't wait to see it again. And you see it and you're like, man, I should have just let that be a memory. You know, it wasn't as good as I was expecting. You know, what happened here? Sometimes memory's better than that. Well, the first 3 Uncharted games, while they did get better each time, I feel like they rejected the first remake in favor of The Last of Us. And I'm guessing that clearly is like a sales thing, because The Last of Us 2, when it came out, I mean, as controversial as it was, I mean, you guys know my reaction. I played the whole thing if you've been on my channel, but the whole thing that surprised people, I'm not going to get into all of it. I was very passionate about that game at one point, but I've kind of let it go. Amazing game overall for what it was by itself. I don't think it was what people were expecting, but it definitely sold a lot of copies. And I think they saw that and you're like, yo, let's get Joel and Ellie back in there and make some more money. I don't know how they're going to do it. Obviously, if it just uses the Last of Us 2 engine or whatever, or the graphics that they use for that, I don't know if Naughty Dog's the ones working on that or some other studio. I don't know how they do it. The thing is, I see like a lot of remakes with Sony lately with the Demon's Souls was a PS5 launch title. It's the same people that remade Shadow of the Colossus for PS4, which they probably will bring that forward to PS5, which I think it even looks good now. The PlayStation 4 version looks good. A lot of games on PlayStation 4 will eventually get brought forward, but a lot of them also look good and got like upscales already. So it's like not really a reason to. So what would you guys prefer? A Days Gone 2 or Last of Us Remastered, you know, for PS5 and everything? I just feel like overall, I don't really know what I would pick. Obviously, I would love a Days Gone 2. But you give me Last of Us and it's like fully updated, I would definitely play it. I think if I had to pick one, I'd definitely pick Days Gone 2. Like if I had to give a definitive answer, even though I'm kind of sitting on the fence right now with this one, I would definitely pick Days Gone 2 just because I was a huge fan of it. I think that they put a lot of passion and original, like the original like aspects of the story, the combat, the hordes. First time you get to the sawmill in Days Gone, it's like breathtaking when all those zombies come out of the woodwork. You've played games before with a lot of zombies in it. You got Call of Duty has zombies, Left 4 Dead. A lot of other games have it, you know, but I just feel like none of them have done it as good as this. And like, I love Dying Light as well. I don't know if we're going to get a second one. I hope we do. That might be another video I talk about Dying Light. But I just feel like I would prefer Days Gone 2 if they were doing that. But that kind of, I think the one thing I'm speculating now is like, and I haven't asked anybody, I'm not going to, because I don't want to get in people's business, but I wonder what Bend Studio was like working on, or if they split up the team to work on other little projects or other games. Are they focusing on remaking, you know, games right now? Because you had like Spider-Man, like the heavy hitters on PlayStation 4 was Last of Us, which was a remake, or not a remake, but a remaster, you know. Arkham Knight, I feel like, was huge, which I don't know if that was also on Xbox, I think. Days Gone, I felt like was one Spider-Man, but everybody already got brought forward. You had a lot of stuff. Detroit Become Human was another one. God of War, how could you forget that? Which I just played that earlier today. I just feel like it's just, there's a lot of potential there if they decide to redo some of these games. I know we're getting like a God of War 2 soon. By soon, I mean probably 2022 or 2023. Them skipping E3 this year, even though it's digital, I feel like Sony's kind of in their own lane right now. And I'm going to give it to Microsoft, though. Let me tell you guys something. They have come out this generation of consoles highly aggressive, all right? They acquired Bethesda. So I don't know what exclusives, how they're going to do it. The Game Pass has been just on fire. You have stuff that comes out on both systems now. When you're paying $60 or $70, depending on where you live or where you're at. In Australia, it's even more. To play it on PlayStation 5. Like, for instance, Outriders is one. It's a really good game. Just came out recently. Day one is on Game Pass. You could play the full game. If you were on PlayStation, you had to pay for it. Major League Baseball, the show 21 or whatever the full wording, if it is. Maybe I oversaid it. It's coming out. It used to be a Sony exclusive. Now it's on day one Game Pass. So it's on both systems. And it's like, for what it is, I would say count this as a win if you're a fan of either. Because if you're Xbox, if you're Team Xbox, whatever, I play whatever. Obviously, Sony has more exclusives sometimes, so I'll play their games on PlayStation. And then if something is exclusive on Xbox, play it on there. Well, for the most part, I've kind of switched to PC nowadays, I'm more of a mouse and keyboard kind of guy. That's just what I prefer. But I'll tell you right now, so, like, the future of, like, what we're getting, I just hope it doesn't get stagnant with remakes and, just remaking the same games. Because you think it's Skyrim, it's all over everything. And then you got Grand Theft Auto 5, came out in 2013. It's, like, re-released every year or every few years on the next gen. It was on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And it's still, like, the hottest game right now, So I don't know what direction they're going to go with everything, but I feel like since they did remake Demon's Souls for PlayStation 5 already, and that same people that made that remade Shadow of the Colossus, just on PS4, and they've made Shadow of the Colossus like every generation. It came out on PlayStation 2. They made that with the Ico collection on PlayStation 3. Then PlayStation 4, they brought it. Probably going to do the same thing for PlayStation 5. I feel like they have certain titles that they like, and they want to kind of keep them up to date, up to current, because those titles kind of solidify what Sony is at this point. It's like, hey, we got this great thing. You see Grand Theft Auto still sound like hotcakes. People, it's like, people love it. And it definitely deserves it. Rockstar is like, you can't even touch Rockstar, man. They're like, to get on their good side, it took me a long time. A lot of emails, a lot of business talks and back and forth, late nights, just eventually you get that they like you. Once you're on the good side, they send you a lot of stuff. They send me shirts all the time, posters, coffee mugs, like stuff. And it's like Red Dead Redemption 2 has been out a long time, and they still send me stuff. It's like the nicest company ever. So, anyways, that's my kind of ramble. That's my thoughts. I don't know what Bend Studio has been up to. If we're not, because I assumed this whole time that we're getting a Days Gone 2. I literally thought, hey, we were good. Now to come to find out, hey, back in 2019, it got rejected for a sequel. Now here's the thing, though. When The Last of Us 2 came out, I saw a lot of people, once they were upset with Last of Us 2, granted the game sold extremely well, had a lot of people like come out and be like, man, Days Gone kind of felt like not a sequel, but like a follow-up to Last of Us, kind of, It was like what we were hoping for. And you had a lot of people coming out of the woodwork for Days Gone. I had a lot of people talking positive about it. More people saying, you know what, I'm going to go play that game instead. You had a lot of people jumping ship, but at the same time, both games are good. I think that they can obviously survive in the same environment, but I just feel like with the way we currently have it set up, it is definitely, if we're going to get remakes before we get sequels, I think it kind of gets a little hazy there, because I think most people would just prefer a sequel to anything. That's like if Dying Light, if Techland came out and said, hey, we know you want Dying Light 2, but guess what? We're going to remaster Dying Light. Everybody'd be like, oh, man, this is about to be a bloodbath. It's like, that's not what we want. But everybody wants Dying Light 2. You release that game, it's gonna blow up the internet. So, anyways, that's my thoughts. Personally, if Bend Studio gets split up and is not working on Days Gone 2, if this article turns out to be false, which I hope it is, I would love a Uncharted remastered, you know? I think it would do great. Because it's just like an original. It's like, then you kind of make Last of Us and you make the Uncharted, and it's kind of like you make them together and use the same engine, because it's like, you know, the combat and stuff's the same. Granted, not everything is identical, but if they use whatever Last of Us 2's engine was, maybe a little bit more enhanced, I feel like you're good to go. But Days Gone 2, if they're not working on that, my hope is Siphon Filter, all right? The reboot, please make it. Jesus. That was like Metal Gear Solid's competition. And I played that game alongside of, like, they came out close, I think. Like 99 and 98 or something like that. Siphon Filter, though, I mean, we haven't seen that or Splinter Cell in a long time either. Like, those kind of stealthy-based games, even though, like, Siphon Filter and Metal Gear are not really stealth-based. They're more espionage, you know? We don't have a lot of games like that on this generation. Or last generation, for that matter. So, that's my thoughts. I'm going to go to sleep. You guys are amazing. Thanks for watching me ramble or listening to me ramble. This might be one of those videos where you just kind of put it on the background and maybe you're watching TV or something. I don't even know. But if you enjoy this type of stuff, let me know. I wouldn't mind maybe doing a video, kind of maybe talk about Dying Light if I get more information. I don't like making these types of videos normally, but I just had an overwhelmingly high amount of people ask me to talk about this. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I'm known as like a Days Gone fanatic, so people are like, what do you think about this? And I was like, I could tweet, but maybe I'll just talk about it. So, and it's a lot easier to talk about it too, because I have a lot to say, and Twitter's only a small number of characters that I can never get enough words in on. So, you guys are awesome, and your likes and dropping is greatly appreciated. I'm just going to kind of see how it goes. Maybe we'll occasionally do like a gaming news type of video. But anyways, you guys are awesome. Love you all. Take it easy, guys.